Henry Joseph Turner became the recipient of 1,762 and 1795 imperial Spanish land grants, making him the third Marquis de Maison Rouge. Henry Joseph Turner married Sarah Tunica Turner, and from this union came their eldest son, Joseph Henry Turner, the fourth Marquis de Maison Rouge. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the fifth Marquis de Maison Rouge by and through his mother, Eliza, a daughter of Sarah Tunica and Henry Joseph Turner. Corrella Turner, Tunica, is the sister of Noble Drew Ali. Corrella's son, John Gostin, is married to a direct descendant of Iya Maria and King Louis XVII, Verdiasi Tierra Washington, Washita. Empress Verdiasi is the sovereign. Her union with John Gostin makes him the sixth Marquis de Maison Rouge. The royal imperial bloodlines have never been broken, therefore, ownership of most of North America and other lands belongs to Verdiasi Tierra Washington and her husband, the sixth Marquis de Maison Rouge, John Gostin. They are the rightful owners of most of America and lands elsewhere. John Jay, the first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court once said, "Those who own the country ought to govern it." I've proven that the Washita Moors, own most of North America and lands elsewhere through the property rights of their current Queen and King, Verdiasi Tierra Washington and her husband, the sixth Marquis de Maison Rouge, John Gostin, therefore, they should govern it according to Supreme Court Justice, John Jay. Given the secret Treaty of San Ildefonso of 1800, the de Bourbon, Charles IV, King of Spain, ceded to the French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, the seaport city of New Orleans only, not the whole of Louisiana, so what Napoleon ceded to U.S. President Thomas Jefferson was the port of New Orleans, not the whole of Louisiana as claimed by the U.S. in the so-called Louisiana Purchase Treaty of 1803. This fact has been secured in the secret Treaty of San Ildefonso of October 1, 1800. See the secret treaty to see the unlawfulness of the Louisiana Purchase. http://www.napoleon-series.org/research/government/c_ildefonso.html. U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, sent Robert Livingston to purchase the Louisiana Purchase from Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon only had the power to sell the harbor city of New Orleans to the United States. According to the secret treaty, Napoleon violated international law by selling the city without consent from Spain, making the deal null and void. The Washita received no money from the Louisiana Purchase, and the purchase exceeded its boundaries by covering over 15 states and parts of Canada which were never part of the deal. The United States took land without giving the Washita due process and usual protection of the law, which should have come in the form of a hearing and compensation for their land. This never transpired, therefore, the land was unlawfully taken from the Washita by the government. As a result of this evidence and the fact that according to Article 6, of the United States Constitution, treaties are the supreme law of the land, and the 14th and 15th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process and usual protection of the laws. The United States is in direct violation of constitutional and international law by occupying Florida and 15 current U.S. states and 2 Canadian provinces, better known as the Louisiana Purchase. This link will give you the names of the states involved in the unlawful Louisiana Purchase. http://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Louisiana_purchase. According to due process of the law and equal protection of the law, if the government can't give the Washita their land back, the government is bound by the law to give the Washita Moors just compensation for their land in the form of payment. There is documentation in the National Archives in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere that confirm the Washita Moor presence right here in North American lands, thousands of years before the arrival of the first Europeans, and their advanced civilization identified them as the Ancient Ones, geophysical mound builders, Uaxishuktunda, and their prior claim to the land was never disputed. Evil deeds stole away their possession of and their control of their ancient lands, partially. Identified in the record as 1. 1848 U.S. Supreme Court ruling in the case of the U.S. Government vs. The heirs of Henry Turner, Tunica, in which the High Court found that the neutral strip, 2,961,983.5 acres of land, was definitely not a part of the territory ceded to the United States, Louisiana Department of Transportation, 1940, 2. The 1992 return of 68,883 acres of land by the state of Louisiana, land grant #923/1991, designated Washita proper, and 3. Washita Terra including the Floridas. I have attached 2 United States Supreme Court cases in which the Washita won these cases, http://supreme.justia.com/a/44/773/case.html, and /supreme.justia.com/a/52/663/ The United Nations High Commission for Human Rights recognizes the self-declarations of indigenous peoples, and acknowledges Yoaxishuktun, Empire Washita, as the oldest indigenous people on Earth, and assigned UN Grant Application Number 215, 1993, to the Washita Moors. The United States has recognized Amuru Washita Dudugdamoundia as an indigenous people of North America and had under consideration in the 105th Congress, H.R. Number 260, the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty Land Claims Act of January, 1997. A series of congressional bills/acts and U.S. Supreme Court cases reaffirm national sovereignty for the heirs of Henry Turner de Bourbon, 1848, case number 191, United States v. Henry Turner's heirs, and the claim has been recorded before the World Court at The Hague, 1996. That since the Treaties of Utrecht, 1713, in which the Spanish de Bourbon had established themselves as the protectorate of lands known as the Floridas, on behalf of Amuru Washita Dudugdamoundia. According to the Declaration of Indigenous Rights, indigenous people are those who embody historical continuity with societies which existed prior to the conquest and settlement of their territories by Europeans, as well as people brought involuntary to the New World. See http://bit.ly/cj54. According to the above United Nations Treaty, all black people are indigenous. This means that blacks are natural persons. All natural persons are human beings and sovereigns of the land, because they rightfully own the land. This is coming from the Black's Law Dictionary. Just look up natural persons. All blacks are beyond first-class citizens and don't even know it, because we have accepted his story and slave labels like Negro, Black, and Colored. What makes the above treaty so powerful is that according to Article 6 of the United States Constitution, treaties are the supreme law of the land. The United States of America is a part of the United Nations, so the government is bound by it. Sovereignty resides in your nationality. Your nationality ties you back to the land. What is your nationality? My nationality is Washita Dudugdamoundia Moor, which is an off-branch of the Kushite Empire, the Songhai Empire, and the Ottoman Empire. The Washita tribal Moors are listed at the United Nations under the Indigenous People Organization number 21593. This became effective in 1993. The seat number for the Washita at the United Nations is 215. According to international law, the Washita has established itself as a sovereign independent nation, United Nations, NIS 21/593, apart from Corporate Union of 1781 and the Corporate United States of 1787. The land claim of the Washita has been affirmed by the Spanish and French, as well as British, pursuant to Spanish land grants of 1762 and 1795. According to federal law, the land of the Washita has been defined as Indian country, and the people regarded as Indians. Both the people and their land have been placed under the authority of the United States government via the Bureau of Indian Affairs within the Department of Interior, which is governed by both executive and congressional plenary powers. As a result, the United States has assumed the trust responsibility for the Washita Nation of Moors, via Spanish land grant of Henry Turner. The Washita Moors enjoy diversity of citizenship jurisdiction, because they are a nation within a nation. All Washita Moors enjoy dual citizenship status. They are citizens of the United States of America, not the United States, and citizens of the Washita Nation.